Welcome each and every one of you to the Eric Pedigo Show on ericpedigo.com, also on basementradio.net. Happy to be there as always. Boy, we got a pretty good turnout tonight. Quite a few of you guys hanging out in the chat room, and I appreciate it. I totally appreciate it. We're going to have a fun show tonight. I've been off for a little while. I kind of took a break for the holidays. Hopefully you can forgive me. I would like to extend a special thank you to Mike Pendleton, my good friend who hosts Mic'd Up here on ericpedigo.com, who's really been sticking with it and doing a lot of shows during all the holidays and really keeping traffic coming to the site. He's doing a great job, so wanted to throw that out there to start the show off because I haven't been here for a while, and Mike has been. They're doing several shows a week, so thanks to Mike. You're doing a great job, buddy. All you guys, man, thanks for coming, man. It's going to be a fun show, and one thing we're going to do on tonight's show is count down the top 10 stories of this past decade. I mean, if you're not up on things, we are a decade into the 2000s. I mean, literally a decade in. It's ridiculous. I mean, I can remember the Y2K, all that stuff going down. Everybody's freaking out about their computers. I remember that. I mean, like it was yesterday. And now all of a sudden, here we are on the brink of 2010. And as I look back and did some research, man, a lot of things happened in this first decade of the 2000s. A lot of things in the world in general, but specifically in the world of sports. And we're going to count those down. At least they'll be my top 10, and we'll throw out a few honorable mentions, and you guys can weigh in and say what you think about my list. I mean, from what I got, I put something on Facebook earlier. I was like, hey, I'm looking for the top 10 sports stories of the decade. Any suggestions? And what I got blew me away. I got like 20 comments. But we're going to go over all those, and I'll read the comments that I got, and we'll cover everything. It's going to be a good show. And we also have current things to talk about. I mean, there's NFL that we have to talk about. There's a little bit of college football that we have to talk about. I mean, so we're going to do that tonight. Going to be a fun night, and it may run a little long. I know I got started a little bit late, but I was doing some production, a little bit of production. I tried to, for a few of the top 10s, I tried to put together a little something. You'll see. It didn't all work out, but a lot of it did. We'll see how that goes. Anyhow, we'll get to the top 10 here in a little bit. I want to start off talking about the situation in Minnesota. Speaking, of course, about Brett Favre, Brad Childress, and the never-ending power struggle between coach and quarterback. I think that it's goofy. I think that it's a little bit naive of everyone to think, and especially of Brad Childress and anyone in Minnesota, to think that when you brought Brett Favre into town, that you weren't handing over the keys to the car. Do you know what I mean? You weren't, when you brought Brett into town, you weren't bringing him in to fit into your system. I mean, you were bringing in Brett Favre, and everyone says, well, Brad Childress is the coach. I mean, he's the coach. You have to listen to the coach and play within the team. I guess the big deal is, Favre audibles out of a lot of Childress's, plays and, does what quarterbacks do. And Childress doesn't like it. He's the coach. He's in charge. This is my team. I'm running the show here. Well, no, you're not. Brett Favre is running the show there. I mean, that's how that works. Minnesota is now Brett Favre country, and you have to accept that. You have to admit that. We have this, this tendency to think that there's this hierarchy in sports that exists, the same as it does when we're kids, because we all grew up, playing sports. We don't play professional sports, none of us do, but we all grew up playing sports in some capacity, and the coach is in charge, and that's what we're used to. Coach is in charge. He tells the players what to do. Players listen. Listen, when you're grown men playing sports professionally, you're making more than your coach, right? Or in Brett Favre's case, you've actually been doing what you're doing longer than your coach. You've been involved with it longer than your coach has. When you get to that point, there's a power switch, and it happens. There's a change, and it happens, and it's there, but we don't know because we don't, we never played professional sports. We never been grown-ups playing on that kind of level. So, I mean, when we relate to when we were younger and playing sports and listening to the coach. Listen,